going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know who it is by now.
Jimothy.
Now, ladies and gents, we are back in the lab and I've decided to pick back up Plunder Patrolls, a very rogue deck that is very close to my heart, and I actually took this to a couple of remote duel locals. Now, I've stopped playing the deck. Well, I did stop playing the deck previously, mainly because I was running into VFD, which was basically stopping me from playing the game, as well as playing a lot of virtual world, which meant that I wasn't able to get the correct attributes to get my plunders on field, etc. etc. It just made for a really difficult time. So last format for Plunder Patrolls was not the best experience. However, we are in a new format. Virtual world is not as prevalent as you would think. My only real matchup that is potentially considered meta would be Zodiac Owdlich, which I would have a very hard time playing against currently. So what I thought I would do, ladies and gents, is just basically go through my deck list and just talk about what changes I've made, the very few sort of changes that I've made, and obviously some of my ratios and whatnot, and just have a bit of discussion with you guys to see if we can find anywhere where I can improve. Now, starting us off, we have the Plunder Patrol monsters. So we have the 3 Whitebeard, we have the 3 Redbeard, sort those out, we have the 3 Golden Hair, and we also have the 3 Bluebird. Now, the reason why you max out on these, because this is the main engine of your deck basically. Also, I am playing Desires in this list as I was previously, so being able to have 3 of them means that if I do pop off with Desires, I won't typically banish all 3 copies of one single type of Plunder Patrol monster. Once you've got a couple in circulation, it's not too bad, and with the upcoming support, it's going to be looking to be a very nice way of basically just looping your graveyard resources to be able to just wreak advantage over advantage. So definitely maxing out on all of the plunders. I probably wouldn't play any less unless there's a new broken main deck Plunder Patrol monster that comes out, which means I'd probably drop Bluebeard if I had to. Also, just for the honorary plunder, this will be the upcoming support, but at the moment we have a Silent Angler, just a free special summon. Basically allows me to go into either Abyss Dweller, go into the rank 4 Plunder Patrol monster by hard making it, so to speak, and able to go into synchro plays. It's a nice level 4. It does restrict you, but by that time you've probably popped off with your plays anyway, so it's always a nice feeling seeing Silent Angler. And then next up for the hand traps, at the moment in the main board I'm running double Ash and double Ghost Ball and Haunted Mansion. I do have the copies of either 2 plus some other hand traps in the sideboard, which I will go through when I get to it. But this is basically just to stop my opponent doing stuff, and Ash absolutely helps because it absolutely fuels my Plunder Patrol monster, because it is a fire, so it will allow me to get out or cheat out my Plunder Patrol ship brand from the extra deck should I see Ash first and foremost. So yeah, so 4 in the main board. Again, this is interchangeable. Obviously I could slide in more hand traps, so to speak, because I've got a couple of flex spots in the deck whilst I get a few more cards. Next up for the spells and traps, we are maxing out on the field spell. Now, I've actually done a bit of soul searching and kind of messed about with the deck, and typically what you want to do is get this field spell into your graveyard as quick as possible, at least 1 copy, because it allows you to bounce one of your Plunder Patrol monsters that's equipped, or a Plunder Patrol card that's equipped to one of your Plunder Patrol monsters. And I wasn't doing this, I was always searching for like Emblem or something like that, but realistically you should be searching this and then using it as the Plunder Patrol discard fodder to be able to obviously pitch it to the graveyard in order to get the effect off. So definitely a decent card. I've actually maxed out, and it gives your Plunder Patrol monster some huge attack, which is just crazy. So you definitely want to see this and at least get 1 copy of it into the graveyard just to be able to recycle it. It does help you to OTK, which is the beauty of this deck. Yeah. Next we have triple Emblem. Nothing really needs to be said about Emblem. This just allows you to cheat out some of the monsters. It also provides targeting protection as well as a 500 attack boost to the monster that it is equipped with. Very beautiful card, and you can equip it straight from the deck with the following card, which I've actually increased to 2. So Plunder Patrol Ship Shape Shipping. Now this card is actually a fusion spell for the archetype, but it also allows you to just equip a Plunder Patrol monster or a emblem of the Plunder Patrol straight from your deck. So you can banish this from the graveyard to either equip your emblem or equip a monster. Now what I was saying before, ladies and gents, with regards to the field spell, getting that into the graveyard as quickly as possible, and then banishing your ship shape shipping to then equip a monster to then bounce that monster to your hand is just a nice way. It's kind of like a very, very convoluted foolish burial in a sense, where you bury the field spell to be able to then equip via the fusion spell a monster card to a monster on field, then bounce that monster on field back to your hand, which is just super duper useful. Then you can actually pitch it to the graveyard using the field spell to get a search off for another card, which is just, it's crazy how much this deck can snowball. So I've decided to up this to 2 just because of its utility basically. Next up, one of the newer cards that I've included in this list, Dark Ruler No More. Now, what I was actually thinking about with regards to this is that Dark Ruler No More allows me to play Plunder Patrol, a very, very reactive deck. So I kind of need to be able to let my opponent establish some kind of board presence before I'm actually able to do anything, which means that they're going to obviously have resources on field and engraved. So I need to be able to play the game effectively. And with the meta at the moment, which is shifting slightly a little bit back towards a combo variant, this card becomes very powerful. Mainly because Dragon Link seems to be ruling the roost in terms of meta viability and appearances, which means that they end on the board with a lot of monster negations. They are omni negates, but they're monster negations nonetheless. So this just wipes the board or blanks the board basically and allows me to play. And Plunder Patrols have no problems wiping a board, especially being able to beat over monsters or even just banish monsters with Plunder Patrol ship Moek. So Dark Ruler No More is a nice inclusion. This is also a flex spot, so you can take this out and change it if need be. For example, if I came up against a very heavy back row strategy, this could potentially be an easy side out. So triple Dark Ruler No More in the main board. It also helps go in second, believe it or not. Next up, for a little bit of a draw engine, I am running 1 Upstart and 2 Desires. So just for consistency's sake, I don't like playing 3 Desires. I hate drawing Desires into Desires, and I always seem to do that. 2 Desires seems to be working out fine, and it also still allows me to play if I manage to resolve 2 in 1 duel, which is it's not far off impossible, to be honest. Upstart Goblin, you know, just a free easy nice draw just to cycle my deck. This deck currently is at 40 cards, but there is potentially a few more cards that I'm going to slide in to make it like probably 42, potentially 43, but I'm going to see. But at the moment, this is my draw engine. Upstart along with Blackbeard in the extra deck, it makes for some nice consistency in being able to see cards in my deck. Next, we are running double salvage, nice and simple, and we're also running the 1 Monster Reborn. Now, what I will say is what I was doing previously was trying to turbo out some of the monsters and basically cheating them out of the extra deck, where realistically you want to be making at least hard making each of one of your extra deck monsters. So your Plunder Patrol Booty is live, as well as Monster Reborn being live. Salvage is just a beautiful recovery tool. Being able to just grab 2 resources back out of your graveyard and being able to just use them to just further your plays is just amazing. So I definitely like the 2 salvage. I probably wouldn't run it at 3. And I run it at 2 mainly because of Desires. I don't really want to get rid of both of them, but it does happen from time to time, so that's kind of like the risk you take. But without having any significant draw power in the deck, Desires is needed. So 2 salvage, 1 Monster Reborn. Again, sometimes you banish this, but if you do see, it's just a beautiful extender. And then finally for the traps, we are running triple Plunder Patrol Booty. Now, like I said previously, ladies and gents, you do want to use this to kind of like tutor through your graveyard and keep this live on field, because it blows itself up if you run out of Plunder Patrol monsters. So being able to hard make your extra deck monsters is probably something that's really vital, because you can then revive it using Booty, and then obviously use them to get their various effects off, especially your Link 2 in Plunder Patrol Blackbeard. So triple Plunder Patrol Booty, again because of Desires, it's the only trap that we're playing in this deck at the moment, so yeah, it's nice to see. And then next up, we are going into the extra deck. So we're running 2 Blackbeard. Again, this could potentially be bumped up to 3. I might even take out the Jimothy Final Sigma, and I know it was something that I was talking about in my last Plunder Patrol profile about it not having as much impact as I would like it to. However, I've decided to leave it in because potentially if you're in a winning situation or you've Dark Ruler no more, they're bored, it's always a nice option to be able to go into potentially and be able to just kind of like sit there in an extra monster zone as a big form of negation, or just a big wall basically. But Blackbeard definitely a 2 off, potentially a 3 off. Again, I'm going to be testing this deck out this week, so I should be able to give more of a definitive answer when I actually take this to remote duel locals, if I manage to compete. Next up, we're running one Salaman Great Almirage. This is simply here for Golden Hair, being able to pitch it to the graveyard, well, tribute or wrath for the user as link material, and then obviously special summoner from graveyard using her own effect, and then go straight into Blackbeard. So yeah, Almirage is a nice little tech. Next, for the fusion monsters, we're playing 2 lists. I do have the 3rd list in the side deck at the moment, and the side deck is something that I will talk about in a moment, ladies and gents. But the 2 lists, just for a nice monster negate, wouldn't play any less than 2, to be honest. And I would say that for all of the Plunder Patrol monsters in the extra deck, we've got 2 Plunder Patrol Bran. Now you should potentially, if you're going into a second copy of each of them, you should be in a position to be able to OTK, or at least put some pressure on your opponent. Next, for some additional synchros, Jimothy Final Sigma is up for contention, but Drageye and White Aura Whale definitely something that I will be included. Now, previously I was a bit umming and ahhing about White Aura Whale, about its effectiveness, but considering that Virtual World is not pumping out VFD so much no more, and typically Dragoon is probably what's on the end board, it's a nice easy way to just basically blow up everything else that's on the field that isn't Dragoon, and you can always beat over Dragoon with your Plunder Patrol monsters, because they do get huge. As long as you get Bran on field and you have the field spell, a couple of equips, which is not hard to do in this deck, you can actually just beat over Dragoon. So being able to go into White Aura Whale and just wipe your opponent's field is just super duper useful. It also can keep recurring itself and becomes a tuner, which then allows you to play into Jimothy Final Sigma, which is super useful. Drageye is just a power card. I was not using this card correctly previously. So with Drageye, I have actually got Nibiru in here in the sideboard at the moment, and I wasn't using Drageye's initial effect, where you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck and then bounce cards equal to the number of rock monsters. Now obviously if I'm playing Nibiru in my deck, there's high chance that I will be able to do that in a 40 card deck after I've kind of filtered through some of my resources. So as well as being an Omni Negate, it's also a form of disruption, which is just super duper useful. So definitely Drageye is a power card. Yeah. Next, again, to Moek. This thing just destroys Outlich the Golden Lord. Banishing him off field is just super duper useful. Having it as a quick effect to search for a spell and trap as well, if it's equipped with a Plunder Patrol card, is just a nice feeling to have. And then finally, we run in the Water Gang, aka Bahamut Shark, totally awesome, and Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller again is going to be super duper powerful in this format. So yeah. And then quickly, ladies and gents, I just want to give you my thoughts on my side deck. Now my side deck is still actually in process, so again I'm going to be testing this deck, and once it's tested I'll be able to give a more comprehensive side deck. So at the moment I've got 1 Alpha Beast, I've got 2 DD Crows, I've got the other Ghost Bell and the other Ash Blossom, I've got a Cosmic Cyclone and Twin Twister. I'm actually probably going to put another Cosmic Cyclone in and use that as my back row removal. The reason I've gone for 2 Cosmic and 1 Twin Twisters is basically, in this deck, Twin Twisters doesn't hinder you. The discard can actually work to your advantage, especially if you're discarding Golden Hair or if you're discarding Plunder Patrol Whitebeard. All of their effects trigger after discard, because they just need to be sent either from the hand or field to graveyard, and Twin Twister obviously allows you to meet that criteria. We're playing Triple Rock. We're playing the gold version because it's nice and shiny and I want to blind my opponent after I slam them with a rock. So yeah, also plays with Dragite. We've still got the Raigeki in here. Again, this is a bit contentious. I'm not too sure whether I'm going to leave it in, as well as the 3 Forbidden Chalice. Now, the reason I left Chalice in is because basically VFD. So if they had VFD on board, I could obviously change Chalice in the standby phase, but again, because it's banned now, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with this spot, and this is a potential spot to kind of like put something else in. Also, I've got the other brand, and then again, this is what I'm considering putting in some Skullmeisters. So yeah. So ladies and gents, that is the deck in a nutshell. Again, this is something that I'm going to be testing again. I have missed playing Plunder Patrol, I'll be honest. I've been playing Subterra Guru, which is a great deck and all, but it's just it just doesn't do enough at times, Guru. I mean, if you see your combo pieces and you're able to get Guru's effect off and then start snowballing your advantage, it's good. But if you don't and you get stopped, it's just a really fragile deck. You end up with one monster on board, no field spell, no back row, and it's just it's an easy clap for your opponent, especially if they've got hand traps or multiple negations. So yeah, it is what it is. So ladies and gents, we have arrived at the end of another video. If there's anything that you think I should add to this deck or include, definitely get at me in the comment section below. I'm always down for some constructive criticism. And as always, if you did enjoy this content, you know what to do by now. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, all of that beautiful good stuff. And I will definitely see you guys on the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.